Good morning, everybody. This is Connor from Futures Analytica, bringing you guys another live demonstration of L2Azimuth, our premier level 2 data trading strategy that we've been working on for over a year now. I'm excited to bring this to you guys using my live account. We're going to start the day here just by arming the strategy. You can see here we don't have a ton of volatility, but I think that we're going to do pretty well. Although the number of trades may not be as high as we would like, at least in the beginning. You can see here that we have only recently loaded this onto our chart, so our long and short bias is clamped at 1.0. You can see it's starting to actually learn more. So up here we have our 2-tick forecast. That is a forecast on what the next 2 ticks of movement are going to be. We're continuously working on this to make sure it's smooth and ready for release. We have actually a release build that is substantially further ahead than the one I'm using on the stream, but just for reliability's sake, I know this version works. So we've been doing a lot of background testing on that one, but so this is not as feature rich as the one you guys will be getting on launch, which is on October 1st. Here we go. We just got our first trade here. It's a long position. This was a trespass signal. You can tell by both up here and on the purple color coded bar there. There is a short bias right now, so I'm not too certain about this trade filling. Hey there, Scott. This is going to be compatible with a copy trader. Hey there, Cassiora. So we have hired a completely new support team. We're going to have actually 10 people on support so that we can offer 24/7 support. This isn't something that we've done before, so we're going to be definitely leaning into this one. I've been training, my team has been training this whole new team, and we're going to make sure that this level of support is just going to be next level. I'm pretty excited about it. I think that you guys will like it a lot. Hey there, Lee. By the way, when I had mentioned that this will be available as a monthly subscription, that does not mean that that is going to be the only way to purchase this product. You will be able to get access to it with a lifetime license. Hey, P. Garcia, thank you for the question, which was how will micro contracts work? So we will have the same system as Polarity with micro contracts where you'll be able to check, use full contract data when you're trading micro contracts, meaning it will take the level 2 data from the full contract and trade micro contracts with it. Hey there, Rob. Your question was, can this be trained with indicators? Thanks. So unlike polarity, this does not use that system of ML. ML works completely in the background. You don't have to train it. Um, so you don't have to worry about that. However, you can add indicators to the chart if you'd like, if it helps you trade. Hey, Robert. So the minimum computer specifications needed to run this strategy are less substantial than those required for Polarity ML. So if you can run Polarity ML, you'll have no issue running this strategy. That being said, the actual specifications required. I would go to your internet browser and look up NinjaTrader recommended specifications, and they would be the recommended specifications for NinjaTrader, not the minimum ones. Just got filled into a short position here. Hey Jason, yes, we ship this with exact settings that you need to use for the strategy. And it'll come with a full video course on exactly how to use it, exactly the same way I do. So you guys don't have to worry about that. It's gonna just come out from the box. I know you guys did not like the guidebook style of education that was with Polarity. This will be a full video course series on how to use it. Hey Johnny, this is not Polarity. This is a totally different product. So that would make sense if the right panel does not look the same. Hey there, Mike Worthley. Thank you for the question. Yes, you can close the trade early with the close trade button. Unfortunately, there it's going to be our first loss. We're starting up day down $50. Hey, Kevin, that's certainly a risk that we have taken into account, and that's exactly why we have this two-tick forecast based off of previous market data and current market data. So also it's going to take into consideration your trades, and there we have seen that there is actually a substantial amount of liquidity available when trading this strategy, as it actually hunts for liquidity actively. So we haven't found that to be a risk. Hey there, 4x2x7. Thank you for the question. And yes, you do get a discount if you're an old customer. If you own Polarity before the launch date, you will get a substantial discount on the lifetime bundle. Hey, Ricondo. Launch day is on October 1st.
Target filled.
There we go. Just got filled on that trade. We're back up into the green. Hopefully we can stay that way. Hey there, Michael. So with this strategy, it's actively looking for liquidity. I found that with Polarity, a lot of issues with it were in regards to people's fills not being prioritized. Now, with this, that really should be a non-issue as at least 2 out of 3 of the scanners are actively looking for large amounts of liquidity. Um, and we haven't seen any issues with that. Again, there's also a lot less manual intervention with this strategy, so I'd say that just from an all-around perspective, this is a much more robust strategy. When I shoot out this launch video that's coming out on the 1st, when the strategy is available, you guys will see exactly the capabilities of the strategy, and you'll see exactly what the difference is between this and Polarity. And in terms of how sophisticated the algorithm is in terms of like looking for all these factors that it looks for, I think you guys are going to be pretty impressed, and it's really going to make polarity look a lot less, I don't know, just less refined in terms of how many factors it takes into account. With this, we learned a lot in the development of polarity, and of course, using it on live money for 2.5 years, I believe it's been. Um, so, I mean, we found that we learned a lot from that development cycle, and of course, you guys' feedback has been invaluable in developing L2Azimuth and making sure that we're able to provide all the features that we can to you guys. But yeah, so with L2Azimuth, we've really refined what we've learned. We've built on what works and added even more. So um, also with L2Azimuth, we will be implementing risk settings that you will be able to define. That's going to be not only this medium risk button here, which will do something completely different, but will also be a maximum profit for the day, maximum loss for the day, and of course a, what's it called? Maximum trailing drawdown. Really your bread and butter for trading. Trespass is going to be the hardest scanner to use here. Um, it's also the one that's going to be filled the most. So that's likely going to be your lowest win rate option, but you'll get the most trades out of it. Now the win rate on Trespass is very solid, but it is definitely not as consistent as easy as the other two. Now the other two get less trades per day. Sometimes with Dex Array, you'll have to wait up to 20 minutes for a trade. But we found those trades to be very, very reliable. So at the beginner, we'd highly recommend using Dex Array out of the box. Wow, unfortunately that's going to be our third loss in the day, back down to below $150. Not my day today, but that's okay. We'll keep on going. You'll see that Trespass, we get a lot of trades, but again, win rate isn't going to be as high. It's going to be in the mid 60s. Hey there, Srinivy. Absolutely. Um, I totally understand that. Polarity is complex, and of course, you also have to add on the fact that you have to train the models and consistently adjust settings and whatnot. With this, that's not the case. Everything's done in the background. There's no model training or anything like that. Everything comes pre-shipped out of the box to just work. So we've massively refined on that. And with installation, I know that with ML that was complex. So what we opted for with this solution is that we have actually had an exe installation file. So with this exe installation, we will be able to offer much easier installation in terms and setup. So there won't be really any manual moving around files or anything like that. You'll run the file and you'll click import on NinjaTrader and everything will be automatically set up for you. Now you'll have the option to do it manually if you don't want to run the exe, but this isn't what we recommend to most people. You can see we got another Trespass trade here. We might have to disable the scanner if we keep getting into Trespass trades only. You can see we almost got filled there, but see, yeah, unfortunately we ended up losing that trade. You can see that there was no liquidity at that level. As we move forward, there will actually be an option to take this into account up here, which is the 2-tick forecast. If this trade does not align with the 2-tick forecast, trades will not be taken in that direction. We actually have that as a feature right now, but we just simply have not implemented it into this stream.
Target filled.
Just got filled on that trade. Now we're only down 200 on the day. Got filled again here. We actually got a counter spoof here, so there is some spoofing activity on the market right now that we've detected. Let's see if we can take that. Let's see if those orders get withdrawn. You can see there we ended up winning that trade, so that's also a very reliable option, the counter spoof option here. That's going to detect other players' spoofing activity, which is actually illegal that they're doing, and we will try and take liquidity from them and actually try and go against them.
Target filled.
Just got filled on that one too, so now we're up 349. Hey Hanuma, your question was how do we identify which scanner triggered the trade? You'll be able to see it up at the top right here. Once we're in a trade, it shows you which scanner triggered it, and it's also color coded over here. So it will show purple for trespass, yellow for counter spoof, and I believe it's green for dex array. Hey there, Greg. No, this new product will not take away from Polarity's development over time, but with Polarity, we have really found conclusive. We've almost pretty much concluded on what we want to add to it. Of course, we will continue to maintain it as to support our customers, but really from a features perspective, Polarity is pretty complete. You can
Target
see there,
filled.
it took a while for us to get filled. We stuck right on the profit target there. Now we're up to 624 on the day. Hey, Joe Duke. So your question was, do you think the edges that you have found will go away with selling it over time? No, I actually don't think so. We have, there are multiple precautions. We took similar precautions with polarity in terms of ML, making sure that we were having optimal trading increments there based on the user's current perspective. But with this, it's going to be a little bit different on the way we approach that, but the same concept will be applied just in a much more, how do you say this, equitable way in terms of how users actually use it. Before, it was really very skill based in terms of, or experience based is more is a better term for it in terms of strategy success. And now, really, it's not going to be dependent on that at all. Hey, Dunsworth, this will not be free for current Polarity users, no, but you guys will be receiving a substantial discount if you own Polarity, and for some people that may be more than what they actually paid for Polarity. They'd receive as a discount for the lifetime license. Pricing will be released on October 1st with that launch video. It's going to go into detail on exactly how it works, how each scanner works, why there's an edge, and of course the academic backing and the thesis paper we have on the strategy. So this isn't something we just whipped up. This is something that we have done substantial amounts of research on. We did so much, in fact, that it actually qualifies for a pretty big R&D credit from both the California Tax Board and the IRS. So we this is this is this is pretty real. I've spent a lot of resources on this, and I still have not recouped that in trading, but I'm sure that we'll recoup that in trading by the end of the day, or not end of the day, the end of the year. Just got filled into a long position here,
Target
another
filled.
trespass trade. That one ended up filling very quickly. Hey there, Stacky Adventures. Thank you for the question, which was how do I sign up to be a YouTube streamer promoting this product? Shoot me an email. The email is on my YouTube channel if you go to the contact section in the About page, and I'll be able to help you with that. Hey there, Joe Duke. Thank you for your interest. I'm excited to have you. Hey, Greg. That's more of a complex question, which was what are the summaries and reasons to use
Target
each product at
filled.
different time periods? That's something that will be answered as we move closer to launch date, but that actually, I think that deserves its own video. Hey, Greg, your question was what ATM settings do you use for this new system? So this is actually a great question. We're using just one ATM strategy here, which is just a 4-tick stop loss, 4-tick take profit with no target chase. However, we have an update that is actually, it's live, it's just not shown on the stream yet, which has different ATM strategies for each scanner. So with that being said, of course, everything will be gone into detail before launch day, and it'll be available at you. So exactly what I'm using in terms of ATM strategies for each one, but it will be more complex than what you're seeing here in terms of sophistication, not in terms of user setup. Hey Kijano, I wouldn't say L2Azimuth is necessarily quote unquote better than Polarity objectively, but I'd say the approach to the market is much more modern. We've learned a lot again over the past 2.5 years in terms of developing Polarity, and our research methods have grown substantially. So also our modeling has just been much more accurate. Our F1 score is has been just 2 benchmarks higher than we got with Polarity. Um, and the predicted performance is just much more accurate. We've learned so much from our previous forecasting model that our current forecasting model is just light years ahead of it. And yes, this will work on a $500 account. Again, you're going to need to trade micros for that, but with that, take full contract trades with take micro trades with full contract data feature that we have with this. You'll have no issue doing that. Hey there, Greg. This will not be limited to ES. You can use it on any futures product that offers level 2 data. I will be trading bonds at some point. I will
Target
be trading
filled.
NQ. I could even trade the Russell. It's very easy to swap between um, different futures products. And of course, we will provide support, settings, ATM strategies, everything for all of the big futures contracts at launch. Now, if you guys have anything where you would like me to prepare for that at launch, um, let me know. Tell me what you guys want to see in regards to in actual what instruments you'd like me to have support for at launch. Hey there, Alpha Trading. This does not require Sierra Link. You can see that's our first loss there with the counter spoof strategy, counter spoof scanner. Greg, this could technically be used on equities, but remember that with equities, you don't have the same amount of leverage here. So if you're really only trading between 4 ticks, the percent gain on each trade is just going to be so low. Hey there, Stebby. It is certainly possible to combine polarity with the new model. Hey there, Faladuno. Your question was, there's a saying that if a bot works, the owner will not sell it. How are you different? Well, I mean, I am, at least to my knowledge, the only futures trading vendor that actually trades live consistently and makes money consistently on a live account with full transparency. So there's that. I don't think there's a question of whether or not the strategy works. Um, However, I completely understand your skepticism here. So that was a big issue on Polarity, where we had to worry about that liquidity being taken up by other users, but we don't think that's going to be an issue here, especially with how the strategy is designed. Um, we have done very complex math in terms of making sure that there is enough available liquidity for everyone, and of course that will be gone into detail. But before launch, or at least on that launch day when we release that big video, um, and I think you guys will understand exactly where I'm coming from with that once we release that. But it's a bit too mundane for me to talk about here on the stream, just in terms of no one wants to hear about math right now. Hey there, Joseph. Yes, this does take time and sales data into account. And the time and sales data is integrated into the DEX array scanner. It's not in the trespass or the counter spoof scanner, but DEX array, absolutely it is. Hey there, Kevin. Yes, you can trade multiple instances simultaneously on different futures. Hey there, Hanuma. To use this strategy, you will need to purchase level 2 data. However, I have some good news with that. I've done some research on exactly what that would cost our users, and there's 2 options right now. So if you're trading your own personal account, I'm assuming you're doing it through the NinjaTrader brokerage. Level 2 data is only $14 a month when you go through them. And if you're trading on Apex, level 2 data is only an additional $10 a month through them. So both options are very affordable. And of course, with level 2 data being so powerful, I think it's a good investment. Hey, Mike, this is not necessarily the best time of day to trade this. I do this just because the strategy being so new, I like to have some prep time. I like to write down notes on exactly what I'm going to say, how this presentation is going to go, and how I'm going to react to different things happening. Um, hey there, Amir. Yes, that's correct. The Apex Level 2 data for $10 is in fact only for Rhythmic. Hey there, Kijano. Thank you for the question, which was, is there a minimum volume and or volatility on ES and NQ for L2Azimuth to get best results? And that was your first part of your question. I know you have multiple components, but to answer that, yeah, absolutely. You're really going to want to trade mostly times during the actual New York session. Now, it's much less volatility sensitive than polarity. That being said, trespass over here, this is a volatility sensitive option there. So if volatility is very low, even during the New York session, I'd recommend turning off trespass. These two scanners, though, however, are really are pretty immune to that, at least to an extent. But I really wouldn't trade when you know um, the London session's closed. There's not really anything happening there. I'd say like 4 hours before market open on the U.S. is really going to be a time where you're going to want to avoid that. Hey there, Greg. Yeah, that is true about equities. Now, when you say that your percent returns would be lower because of the leverage on futures, um, it wouldn't necessarily be able to be completely negated by having a different ATM strategy. One thing to remember with regular equities is that you don't really get the same amount of leverage available as you do with futures. So you need a substantially high account size, and with just shares, um, it really would depend on how large your profit target and stop loss is. Hey there, Declan. Thank you for the question. Strategy will be released on October 1st. I'm waiting to release exact pricing information as I communicate with members of the community. We're trying to work on something that really is equitable for everyone. Um, Also, I want to actually show you guys the real capabilities and work that went into the strategy before anything is set in stone. I want you to like at least have a shot at making you guys understand exactly what's going on with this strategy and why it's at that price point. Hey there, Smith. Thank you for the question, which was um, NinjaTrader CSR quoted me today. CQG with CME bundle and level 2 data is $41 a month. I do believe that it's only an additional $10 per exchange. Now, if you're trying to trade level 2 data on every single exchange, yeah, do believe that's true. Hey there, Bane. No, this new strategy is not included with Polarity. Unfortunately, there we ended up getting stopped out of that. Trespass has not been very reliable this session. Hey there, Alan. Um, the price for polarity sorry, the price for polarity customers will be heavily discounted. You likely will get more back in that discount than you did that you actually paid for Polarity. So we won't be offering a trial at launch. We think the software is far too valuable to have that, especially with the fact that we come with a video course. You can't exactly unlearn information once it's been opened, and that video course is going to be pretty substantial. And we just don't think that would be fair to us, especially with how much work has gone into it and how special the software is. Hey there, Dante. This will be much easier to set up for beginners than Polarity was. It'll just be a simple .exe installation file. You run the executable. It installs it on your computer. You open NinjaTrader. Everything will already be loaded. You'll just have to enable the strategy, and you'll be set up exactly the way I am here in this stream. Hey there, Salisbury. Your question was, if you're claiming transparency, then why are you screening your questions and not making them visible? Can you imagine having to moderate chat? The thing is that with these questions, is that there's going to be a lot of people chatting outside of the questions. So um, if you actually think that it would be feasible for me to live trade, moderate chat, and screen for questions, and then scroll back and look at exactly which questions are important or which ones are rubbish. I mean, there are questions here that have been answered like multiple times already. There are non sequitur questions. There are confusing questions, but I wouldn't say I'm screening them. I actually have not skipped any questions here. And the thing is that I'm claiming full transparency on my trading. Anyone can say anything with, you know, questions, Q&As, but that's all subject for debate. Now this is completely conclusive proof that I'm completely transparent. This is a no delay live stream. You're seeing real market data on a real account with no delay. This is quite literally impossible to fake. Hey there, Dr. Bruce. Thank you for the question, which was, can you please elaborate on the level 2 data through Apex? Yeah, absolutely. I can certainly do that
Target
as we get
filled.
closer. There's some links and some steps. I can post that link in the description. If you comment the same question on this video, I will respond to that question in the comments with a link to that Apex tutorial on getting level 2 data. I think that'd be the best way to do it. And of course, that will be available in our database on our, we'll have a frequently asked questions page or a usage database, and that will have its own page there. But at least for the time being, this will be a good solution for you guys. Hey, Neocore, we don't have a day trial, but we will have a month subscription. So if you only want to commit for just a month and see how it goes, you'll be able to do that.
Target filled.
Hey, Vicus, this strategy comes out on October 1st. Hey, John Cyric. Yes, I have traded Azimuth during high volatility periods, such as post FOMC. The results with Trespass are not optimal,
Target filled.
but Dexarray and Counterspoof still remain very strong. John Disk says, Fast Track Trading has level 2 data for free. Thank you for letting me know about that. We'll certainly take that into consideration in terms of our knowledge base. If that ends up being cheaper overall than some other options, then that may be our go-to recommendation. Hey there, Chief FX. Polarity owners will get a discount on the monthly subscription, but that won't be as substantial as on the lifetime, just because, um, it wouldn't make sense. But that will be a lifetime discount on the subscription, so it could end up
Target
being
filled.
actually a larger discount than the lifetime if you really go for long enough. Hey, Greg. Thank you for the question. For clarification, this will launch the 1st of October, so in 11 days. Hey, Julian, your question was, the green color of the buttons hurts the eyes. Thank you for the feedback. I will certainly forward that to our dev team. And I don't necessarily love how the contrast works here. The text is a little bit difficult to read. So we may lower the contrast on the colors or lower the hue and then increase contrast on the text. Hey there, ELC. Your question was, are we necessarily going to need to learn everything going on within the software to be able to trade this? Great question. So I do highly recommend going through the entire course before trading it live. I mean, I think that it would be kind of lazy not to. But I mean, you don't have to know exactly how the algorithm works. That's certainly true. You don't need to know any math. You don't need to know exactly how the strategy comes to each decision, but you should have a general overview of exactly what's going on, or at least sorry, not exactly, but a general sense of what's going on. For example, like if during news time, you may want to disable trespass, um, as I had stated earlier, and that'll all be included in that course. But yeah, you will need to complete the course before you trade this live. I gotcha. Thank you, Aramir, for the follow up. That Fast Track Trader does not have NinjaTrader.
Target filled.
Ended up winning that one. We're up to 1,800 on the day. We're slowly climbing up. A little bit of a slower day here, but I'd say we're doing pretty well. Hey there, Greg. We do have substantial data on profitability for all three scanners, and those will be modeled on a 3D plot based on different factors. And we'll be posting that with on launch day, all those graphs, all those charts, everything regarding that when we come out. Hey there, Scott.
Target
11
filled.
days is not September 1st. 11 days would be October 1st. Um, Current month is September. Hey there, Barry. Thank you for following up. We will have ATM strategies available for both ES, NQ, ZB, ZN, and CL at launch. Hey, BTO cars. You're not very behind. Don't worry about it. If it's your first time watching L2Azimuth, we only have one other live stream where we talk about it, or one other piece of content where we talk about it. So once you're done watching this stream, I would go watch our original stream where we did a soft launch on the product. We do answer a lot of questions about that there. But that's really the only knowledge we have publicly available at this point. As we move closer to launch, there'll be a lot more data on exactly what's going on. And on launch day, there will be a full comprehensive breakdown on exactly what L2Azimuth is, why it works, and why there is an edge. Hey, Yasin, this does not have trend or regression mode. Hey, no worries, Scott. I'm the same way. I get messed up with dates too. We had a counter spoof trade there. We ended up losing that one, back down to $1,800 profit. Hey there, Kijano. Yes, you can trade pre-market and aftermarket. However, you will get less trades overall. Almost got filled there. You can see there just wasn't any liquidity at the 57.50 level.
Target
We ended up
filled.
winning that one though, just over $2,000 on the day. Hey there, Smosh. No, everyone would not take the same exact trade on if you were trading the same instrument. Especially with these purple lines here, you can see that they're, and with the 2-tick forecast up there, that will be a substantial help and both the liquid. And now I actually will exclude that. With Dexarray and Counterspoof, there will be trades that are taken by the same people, but this will not be all of the trades. But with those two scanners, there is going to be a ton of liquidity available. The entire basis of Counterspoof is that it actually works better the more people that are trading it, just because you're going against a different player and their spoofing activities. What can end up happening when there are enough players there that try and counter spoof is that those institutional orders that are supposed to be fake will end up actually getting filled. So that will completely blow up their strategy, and that will make the success rate even higher. So that is actually really the basis of why this strategy works so well as a quote unquote crowdsourced strategy. Counterspoof is going to have an inverse curve with the number of users using it in terms of success rate. So um, the win rate will actually go up the more people are using it, because you'll end up getting an effect where the spoofing players' fake orders will actually get filled. I'm not explaining
Target
it super
filled.
well, but I hope some of you guys get the gist if you guys are familiar with how spoofing works. But this is something that will end up happening. Hey there, Yasem. Yes, I will be doing a demo on NQ. Hey there, Smosh. Trespass is very similar to what some market makers use in their market making strategies, at least in terms of the entry. Now, the exit's very different. The entry is similar, but with the current medium risk setting here, which determines the entry, um, the exit is not very similar. Hey there, Yasem. We will allow users to enable long or short only. We have been getting some requests to implement that, and that's something that we've decided to re-add. Hey there, Amju. I've spoken with the representative at Apex, and this strategy will not be an issue on Apex as long as you do not check the rearm button here. So if this rearm button here is disabled, you'll be fine. Now, it's a gray area if you have this enabled, because that's considered fully automatic. So if you simply, all you have to do if this is off is that you just have to rearm this strategy after each trade. Hey there, Smosh. Yes, we do have an industry advisor. It's not necessarily an advisor, but we have hired a few consultants from a couple of hedge fund firms too, or hedge fund consulting firms. It's actually funny. There's an entire industry based on consulting for hedge funds, and it's all consisted of staff who used to work for hedge funds, worked on managerial boards and whatnot. So we've done a lot of work with them and a couple of quants on making this available. A lot of people were actually very interested and kind of amazed at the whole idea behind counter spoofing and the practicality of it working better because institutional players are getting filled inadvertently.
Target filled.
Just got filled on that position. We're up to $2,300 now. Hey there, Spencer. Yes, the P&L is inclusive of position or of commissions in this live trade. You can see here 2297.76. That's not a number that you'd be able to get if this did not include commissions. You would see a flat number that is a multiple of, or a factor of 12.5. Hey there, Mark. Yeah, I'd say it's certainly more accurate with Polarity, especially if you're using, if you're considering that Polarity has a lot of manual intervention. Now, Trespass, much more unreliable in terms of usage, but still profitable. But Dexray and Counterspoof, very accurate, more accurate than Polarity, I'd say. But because Polarity has that manual sauce, I can get Polarity's win rate to be quite high when ran with manual intervention. Hey there, Yasem. Yeah, absolutely. So with this strategy, you will get a discount. For some people, that discount will be higher than what they paid for Polarity based on the package they selected and what package they end up going with for L2Azimuth. But yeah, we will take care of
Target
our
filled.
original members. That's something that is important to me, that you guys supported us from the very beginning. Hey, Kijano. We are working on having a one-on-one service for users who do need that extra bit of help. We will have that 24/7 support. We have a 10-man team that we will have. Beginning in the middle of October, we'll have all 10 people on staff. But we don't think that it'll come to that. However, if you do need one-on-one support, that is something that we are pretty much obligated to provide, and we will be able to offer that as a product.
Target filled.
Hey there, Smosh. Thank you for the question. I am absolutely a believer in Christ. However, I hesitate to justify my me selling this product as being in His name. I don't find that to be to completely sit right with me. I'd say that anything regarding business, um, I find it to be unfair to um, justify anything where you're making money off of it um, to be because of Him. Um, now, I do apply principles from my faith to how I run this business, but um, I would say um, it would be in vain for me to say my reasoning is because of that. I am making money off this product to be completely transparent. That if I'm selling it, I am making money off of it, and I don't. In any time I'm doing business, I'd say it wouldn't be right for me to justify that by saying I'm doing it because of my faith. However, I do support World Vision. We have a pretty solid fundraiser that we did a while back where we had a $500 to $10,000 challenge, and we donated $10,000 of the profits to that. So once we made that profit, we ended up donating it, and of course, monthly obligations, that is something that I include. But I won't talk too much about that. I found that to be you know, I don't want to toot my own horn. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Hey there, Narayan. Thank you for the question. The strategy does recognize if level 2 data is missing, which was, in your perspective, let's say
Target
the
filled.
customer had inadvertently ended their level 2 subscription. Does the strategy know if level 2 data is present and provide some message or error if it's not? Yeah, absolutely. So immediately when you load the strategy on your chart and you don't have level 2 data, it'll say level 2 data is required. Please contact your data provider or connect to a different data broker. And if that message is on the screen, you can enable your scanners, however, they won't take any trades. Thank you for the recognition, Smosh. Appreciate that. You can see that we almost got filled there. Just wasn't enough liquidity at that level for us to happen. Our trade, you know how the CME uses a FIFO system, first in, first out. So someone there, or 16 people there, or 16 orders there had been before I had been placing my
Target
order.
filled.
So that's one thing that's important. Hey Amju, Apex would not know if you had the rearm button on or not unless you had recorded it or you had released it. Um, like let's say if you were live streaming Apex and you had the rearm button on, that would be one way they would know. I haven't heard of any people ever getting dinged on Apex for using auto arm on polarity. However, just to be safe, just so they have nothing to say about
Target
that,
filled.
that is a safety thing that you should take into account.
Target filled.
Hey Zlom, so if you ran it on an Apex account and you chose not to have the rearm button on, after each trade you would have to rearm the strategy. Now that's just the safest way to use it.
Target filled.
Hey there, Jorby. You do not need to use Sierra Link. However, I'm using Sierra Link, and I think with any strategy that is high frequency, a VPS is going to help. Hey, Kijano.
Target
Yeah,
filled.
absolutely. It certainly is a self-learning system. You can see up here, this two-tick forecast constantly gets optimized based off of past data. Now, this current version, there is a bug where it will get stuck at 1.0 long bias or 1.0 short bias. Now, in the most recent version, which is not on the stream, where we have other features unlocked and available, that is not an issue. But that is one thing to take into consideration. Now, with this two-tick forecast, this currently isn't actually being considered in our trades. So the system should be more powerful, or at least in our testing, it has been substantially more powerful. Now we'll see how that goes on live trading. I was actually quite nervous to take this on the live stream when we did that on last Friday, just because you know how it is. It can work in closed doors, but once you open it to the public, some things can go wrong. But fortunately, it didn't. And I'm praying the same thing with that two-tick forecast. Once we integrate that into the actual strategy logic, I think it will be actually much more powerful, especially with Trespass. Trespass right now without that will take more trades than necessary, and a lot of times those trades will end up being losses. So with that integrated, I think that should help. And with this two-tick forecast as well, we will have a risk setting. So if you want to take low risk trades, what's going to end up happening is that if that two-tick forecast goes against you, let's say you're in a long position and swaps to a short forecast, then it will actually take you out of the trade early. Now, this can end up in a loss, but this also can end up in a smaller gain. So if you are up on the day, or up on that trade, sorry, and let's say you're 3 out of 4 ticks, what will end up happening if the two-tick forecast swaps against you, it'll actually take you out of that trade. So we found this to be actually an alpha enhancer, and it makes the Sharpe ratio go up. So total profit stays actually pretty relatively the same at the end of the day, whether your risk settings are on low, medium, or high. But with that two-tick forecast, we get a much more stable equity curve, and the Sharpe ratio is substantially higher.
Target filled.
Hey there, Smosh. Zach is definitely still around. He has taken a different role. He's not in charge of customer support anymore, but he is helping to train the new customer support team. Um, but yes, he's a very much active member of Futures Analytica. Hey, Greg. So we've offered the freedom for users to change settings if they'd like. Now, I'd like you to listen to my explanation here. So with polarity, I think a lot of people were confused at what the settings actually meant. Now with this, not only will that be much clearer, but it will be completely unnecessary to change those settings if you don't want to, or if you don't have a specific reason to do so. Now, with L2Azimuth, we want this to also be a sandbox for developers. We've taken a pro developer approach to this. It's not going to be open source, but we will offer API hooks into the strategy and out of the strategy. So let's say that you don't actually want to take trades, but you want to feed signals into a different strategy. L2Azimuth will be able to do that. L2Azimuth will also be able to take inputs. So let's say you have a different strategy where you want to have an additional confirming bias. So what you would do is that you would hook into the strategy and have it enable and disable scanners based off of your custom strategy. Again, this might be kind of confusing for people who aren't developers or don't have any interest in that. This is just something we have made available for developers to do if they would like. We want this to be a much more democratized strategy, especially with that counter spoof feature. I think it's actually kind of hilarious. The thing with spoofing is it actually completely destroys markets. It's completely unfair. And it is extremely hard to catch from a prosecutorial standpoint. Because at the end of the day, any firm can just say, oh, we wanted to trade there, but we just withdrew our order because we changed our mind. Now, the hands of the regulatory agencies are kind of tied there because it's very difficult to prove intent without insider information inside that company. So what we've done here is that we found a way to detect spoofing, which is actually a pretty novel idea. It's not something that's that difficult, and regulators actually use that, but again, they have to actually prove intent. It's not just a general intent crime. Um, so with this is that we're actually using the forces of the market to end spoofing as a market manipulation tactic. Um, Now, of course, we'll see how that ends up going with so many users doing it, but in our testing, we've actually seen it increase in effectiveness with more users. It's probably my favorite feature of this is that counter spoofing system. It's something I'm pretty proud of. Um, and I think there's a lot of comedy in it. Yes, Peter is staying. Hey there, ELC. Yes, the software will be able to stop trading when you hit your profit target for the day, or your maximum loss for the day, or your trailing drawdown. Hey there, Hanuma. Please shoot us an email rather than just a Google form if your machine ID changed. Also, guys, with this new strategy, we'll be getting rid of the machine ID system completely. You'll get a license key, and what will end up happening is that if you just load that license key, it'll be attached to your account. Now, what we've done is that we've made sure that you cannot use the same license key at the same time. So if you're using the same license key at the same time with another user, you guys will both be locked out until only one of you is using it, so you won't be able to share it. Now, we may offer additional machine IDs at launch to allow users who have multiple computers to trade, but I don't think that'll be necessary because, again, if you're not using it at the same time, it won't be an issue. So if you're using a work computer versus your home computer, it won't make a difference. You won't need to buy that additional machine ID because you can use it on both computers, just not simultaneously. Now, we do have some systems in place to prevent people from sharing it, even if they're using it at different times. But that's something that takes manual intervention, and we'll be performing checks on people if that were to happen. We won't just disable your license. It's not something that we're in the business of doing. If you're really going through that much effort to share it, I mean, there's got to be something going on there. Hey, Mark. Anti-spoofing is significantly more sophisticated as an algorithm compared to adversary detection. I'll be going into detail on exactly how this algorithm works as we move on launch day. We'll be releasing a pretty comprehensive video. I think that you guys are going to be pretty blown away at this, but it's very different from adversary detection. I don't have enough time or I don't have the visuals to explain it to you guys. I can just pull up on the stream here, but it will require me to show visuals. I will have to make allegories. I will have to make metaphors and stuff like that to explain it. But all the math will be available as well as metaphors that we'll be able to understand. Hey there, Boomtown. We unfortunately won't be offering a trial for the strategy, but we will offer a monthly subscription if you would like to go with that, so you don't have to commit to it full time.
Target filled.
Hey there, Teak and Luca. To answer your question on if you could trade fully automatically, just look and see what I'm doing today. I'm not actually doing anything. I don't think I've actually enabled or disabled anything. I've been pretty much just doing completely passive. Hey there, Sarah Barbour. Thank you for the question, which was, can you run this simultaneously with other futures products like ES and NQ at the same time? Yeah, absolutely. 100% you can.
Target filled.
Hey there, Smosh. The future of futures analytica is bright. I love strategy development, and I think I have some awesome ideas that I'm constantly working on. I mean, if you guys saw the background of what we've been doing, there have been so many strategies that have not panned out, and we haven't even talked about, just because like we do a lot of research here. That's pretty much what futures analytica is. It serves mostly as a firm for research for my own personal trading. When you include all the development costs, futures analytica is barely profitable. But now, when you consider that those development costs pay off in my own trading and I make money off of the products that are developed, that are funded by users who are buying it, it is profitable. But futures analytica is here to stay. It's something that is a giant asset in my trading, and it's something that I love doing. I have a passion for it. Hey there, Jason. Yes, you'll be able to use my exact ATM strategies. Hey there, Yasam. You do not need to train the model with this strategy. You won't need to do anything out of the box to get it to work. Hey, Greg. Yes, you can absolutely start monthly and go with lifetime later. We may end up doing a setup fee for the monthly just to incentivize users to make a long-term commitment, but that's just a business decision. Now, if you upgrade to the lifetime license, that setup fee will be applied to the purchase of the lifetime license, but the subscription itself wouldn't be. Hey, Smosh, that's actually a good idea about vlogging behind the people behind my company. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Now we do have a lot of remote workers, so our office is it's pretty small. It's just two cubicles or two separate offices right next to each other. But that's just for me and another guy who's local. But our developers are pretty much all remote, and our quants we just meet over video. Um, just because a lot of them are based in Chicago and in New York, but um, this is something that we could definitely pull off in the future. Hey Narian, from my understanding, with with a trade copier, they should automatically adjust your take profit and stop loss to all be consistent across the different accounts you're trading. And it won't actually be treated any differently than if you were to trade, let's say you were in 10 contracts. Your first 5 contracts get filled at 53 or 57.53, and your next 5 contracts get filled at 53 or sorry, 57.53.25. You shouldn't treat it any differently than if you're trading it on one account. There haven't been any issues when we've tested it with the Apex account trader or Apex trade copier. So we think it should work across more. Now it's something that we will test more as we come past the launch, but that's not really a priority at launch. If we want the strategy to be completely refined and ready for general purpose use at launch, which we think we've gotten there. Um, but that's something that it's a little bit more auxiliary. Hey, Greg, thank you for the question. Which was, what would happen to the company and development if something, God forbid, happens to you? Is there a key man or woman in place that could carry the company on? Yeah, absolutely. And that man is Zach. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zach Wagner, but he's been with me by my side since this company started. I've actually known Zach since I was 4 years old. He's been my best friend since kindergarten, and we've grown up together. It's awesome. We have an awesome relationship, and he would carry on the company if something happened to me. That being said, I don't actually know he doesn't have the same quant background as I do, but he would continue the general maintenance and development of the strategy. But couldn't promise. He probably would not be releasing new products, and I don't think he would take over for me as live trading. But that is a risk. That is certainly a risk. And if you guys are worried about something happening to me, I mean, I think that's a smaller risk than something happening in the markets. But the product will still be available, and product will still receive support after that. But I can't promise any new products. That's all I'll say. Hey, Jason, thank you for the question. If you choose the monthly and want to go for the lifetime, the amount you paid for the monthly setup fee can be applied to the lifetime license. The amount you paid for the subscription portion of that, let's say you subscribe for 2 months and your monthly fee is like, let's say a substantial portion of that because the setup fee isn't going to be huge. Um, Everything from or just the setup fee can be applied to the lifetime license. The actual subscription cannot be applied, but you can upgrade. So, um, hey there, John. I'm currently based in Newport Beach, California. Hey there, Sasa. I'll be releasing exact pricing as we move forward to the launch day. Likely will be on launch day. I'm still having dialogue with community members on exactly what's fair and whatnot, and you know, taking into account the massive development costs of this strategy and what exactly we're offering in terms of features for our users. Um, and this is not going to be something that's going to be included in Polarity, but anyone who owns Polarity before the launch day will have a substantial discount applied to a lifetime license. Hey there, market profile. There is no trend or regression selection with this strategy. Hi there, Johnny. Yes, you can use it with Apex funded accounts. Hey there, Levente. Thank you for sticking with us. This strategy will be substantially easier to set up and install. It will come with a exe installation file that will install it all for you. You open up NinjaTrader, click compile, which will be very easy to do, I promise. And that'll just verify that everything is installed correctly. And then you open up, and then you just click a workspace, and everything will be there. Um, Much easier than Polarity. Thank you, John. It's a good suggestion. But hey there, Narayan. Yeah, I have absolutely seen a losing day with L2Azimuth. That's something that can happen. But I have not seen a losing week. I'll tell you that. So in our back testing, we have not seen a losing week. Hey, NTJ. We have out of the box included integration with AC4 Plus into L2Azimuth. Now, we don't have any features actually baked into it yet that use that, but we have set ourselves up for success here. One thing we learned from Polarity was that we didn't really set ourselves up for future expansion and growth of the strategy, and it became very taxing to work on. Oh, there we go. We just got filled into a trade. It's a counter spoof trade. Let's see if we end up winning this. Um, Unfortunately, maybe not. I think he closed that a little sooner than we thought. But sorry, be back to the point. Um, we've really set this strategy up for a lot of future development with those API calls available, with those hooks, and of course with integrations that we've set up. Even if we don't have them usable right now, they exist, so it'll be much easier for us to update that. Also, with strategy updates, all you have to do is run the exe file, and it will install the update for you. Hey, Greg, yes, you can have it on the same NinjaTrader instance. However, what can happen if you are in the same instrument is what happens if you get into the same trade. Let's say if you get into a long position in Polarity and a short position on L2Azimuth, they would in theory cancel each other out. So that is one thing to consider. And you'd have to pay commissions on that trade too, of opening it and closing it.
Target filled.
Somehow ended up winning that trade up to $4,400 on the day. Hey there, Neocore. I am using this on a VPS right now. We're using it on Sierra Link. Hey there, Takoa. Based on experience, your question was based on experience of trading and reading markets, can a person selectively arm and disarm the strategy and increase the win rate? You absolutely can. 100%. If that's something that you guys want to pursue, absolutely. Now, that won't be a part of the core strategy in terms of how we teach it, but you can do that if you'd like. And you can integrate it with other strategies. We will also offer the ability to selectively arm and disarm in the long and short directions. Hey there, Radar Net. Thank you for the question, which was how many computers can I install this on? The answer to that would be technically infinite, but you cannot use those computers to trade at the same time. So if you're using L2Azimuth on one account or on one PC, you won't be able to go to a different PC and load it at the same time. They'd have to be at different times. So that is something
Target
that you
filled.
should take into account. It's just to prevent people from sharing their license with other people. Hope you guys can understand that. Hey there, Kijana. Your question's with a 1K US dollar account. Can I use this for an ES full contract? Technically, with $1,000 in your account, you're able to hold one ES contract intraday. Now, from a risk perspective, I cannot recommend that in good conscience. I think that would be very risky. You might end up doing pretty well, but I don't see the point. We always support micro contracts, and I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I would say to use just micro contracts until you get to a point where you can comfortably trade a full ES contract. Because really, there is no rush when it comes to trading. You can't rush it, or else you are going to get blown up. You're going to get emotional. You're going to close trades early when you shouldn't, and that's at least that's what happens to me. Now, if you're different, I get it, dude. Um, if you want to be a little more risky. However, I don't like to have the possibility of blowing up my account. Hey there, KL Pardo. Thank you for the question, which was, why aren't my questions being answered? I'm scrolling through these questions here, and I don't see any other questions from your email address. So if you could please submit them through this email address, let me know. But I'm getting to pretty much every question that's being asked. Hey, Yassam, my ticks of profit and ticks of stop loss are four. Four tick stop loss, four tick take profit. Hey there, Demonte. We will not be offering a free trial for this package. Nage, thank you for the question. If you already have Polarity, you wouldn't be able to get the system for free, but you would be able to get it at a substantial discount, potentially more than you paid for Polarity, depending on what package you end up getting. Hey, market profile. Let me know exactly what this question means, which was, so because I'm already on Sierra Link, there is not much for me to do to go with L2Azimuth. Yeah, absolutely. But remember that L2Azimuth isn't included in the Sierra Link subscription. That does have to be purchased separately. But it will be pre-installed, meaning that you'll just boot up your Sierra Link instance and it'll greet you with a license key entry. And if you put in your license key, then you'll be able to use it. Hey there, Salisbury. Absolutely. I totally understand. Um, with Polarity, the installation process, we understand there were a lot of hiccups. And a lot of that came from the fact that there was ML. As we move forward, we will include an easier installation process for Polarity. However, the inclusion of machine learning being in files that we can't access, that you have to put in manually without administrative permission, has given us a little bit of hiccups when integrating that. Now, that's something that is on the forefront. We are actively working on that, but that won't be included at launch for that. Um, but it will be easier for Polarity eventually. Okay, KL Pardo, it said it was the third try. Just wondering if there's a steep learning curve and what a new user can expect to achieve. That depends on what scanner you use. I highly suggest for a new user to just use the Dex Array and Counter Spoof. Those are pretty much just dead simple. Dead simple. I mean, if you could see what I'm doing here, I think that I saw this question earlier, but I mean, I didn't answer it just because I answered a question that was similar, which was, just watch what I'm doing. I have literally done nothing. Now, make an assessment on your own on exactly like how difficult that is. Um, But I apologize for skipping that question. But to follow up on that question, for actual win rate statistics, I want to have data available to back what I'm saying. So we have that data. However, I don't have the visuals to show you guys on this stream. What's going to happen is that on release date, I am going to show you guys exactly all the math that goes behind the strategy, all the research and all the validation that went into it. We're going to talk about why this edge is the thing, how this edge works, and why it will continue to work. So there's that. Hey there, Golden Fractal. Again, no worries if I know it's a question that's duplicated, but it's okay. Availability will be on October 1st. I don't have pricing availability out yet. We'll be waiting to release day. We've been having dialogue with users on feedback for that. But we're we'll be releasing that when we have justification for that to give you guys on exactly why it costs XYZ. Joseph, it's a great suggestion actually. If we made like, let's say we're in trespass, those purple. If we change the color of trespass to be purple, dex array being the same color, counter spoof being the same color, that is a good idea. I think we'll integrate that. Hey there, Aaron. You do not have to purchase Sierra Link if you have L2Azimuth. That's something that's completely optional, and that's just people who want to have the same setup as me in terms of latency. Hey, John. Yes, Sierra Link Alto would be sufficient for this strategy. Hey there, Cal Pardo. Um, yeah, absolutely, no problem. And yes, the strategy does self-optimize. Now, what you're seeing today is not a self-optimizing strategy, but up here, that is self-optimization. Now you can see here, we're having some bugs with it. Um, and in the new update that I'm not using on the stream, but we have it, this is fixed. And it'll be demonstrated that it's fixed when it's like before the release date. And this up here is the 2-tick forecast. Again, it's not supposed to be on long 1.0 right now. It should be showing a value in between 0 and 1. Now that's a more accurate number here. But what this does, it shows what's likely to be the next 2 ticks. And that is what the ML is in this strategy. You'll need to have a certain number of bars loaded on your chart, but once this is up here, you'll be able to actually see that. Hey Raj, yes, we have a daily profit and loss feature where the system stops trading after it hits its target or loss. Selection of hours will also be included. Hey Barry, yes, we'll have the correct bar size for other instruments. Hey there, Joseph. I apologize if I missed your question. No need to blow up on me like that, but I'm scrolling back here and I can't see anything, at least in the past 50 questions. Now, to put this in perspective, guys, I'm getting over 10 questions per minute. I'm trying to answer them all. I'm trying to combine as many as I can that are similar. I'm not trying to intentionally get rid of questions. Now, you guys have also asked, why don't I make the questions publicly visible? That is the same reason. It'd be in chat. Can you imagine what a fiesta that would be while I'm trying to trade? I'm trying to also manage and make sure everyone's questions are getting answered, and there'd just be like chit chat between users. I mean, that would be literally impossible. Um, but guys, I really am trying to get to everyone's question. I'm not trying to ignore anyone. If you could post your question one more time, please let me know. Hey, John, thank you for the question about that, which was if there is a uh, non-correlation between the 2-tick forecast and the trade you're currently in, would the trade get closed? So that's the beauty of it. Down here, you can see this feature is disabled at this point. It isn't coded in this version. But on release, you will have the option between different risk settings. Now, what this will do is if you're on a low risk setting, the trade will close early if the 2-tick forecast goes against you. London and Asia sessions are effective. However, I would trade closer to the open or close of those sessions. Hey there, Raj. No, it will not require adjustments to the strategy variables to use this the same way I do. Okay, guys. I do think that we are going to be ending the day here up at $3,800 on the day. We had a pretty solid day, I'd say. But you can see we have this off here, and yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really enjoyed answering all your guys' questions about the product. Something I've been so excited about to share with you guys. It's been hard to keep my mouth shut about it. But now that we have that foundational layer built for you guys, um, yeah. So tune in on Monday or Tuesday. I'll actually schedule the live stream after this. So and I'll send out an email after this on exactly when that'll be. But we'll be doing a lot more demonstrations. I think the next one's going to be on NQ. Let's just say Tuesday. For NQ, we're going to do Tuesday. Tuesday at 7:45 a.m. PST is going to be the next live stream for this, and we'll be using it on NQ to show you guys the performance on there. But guys, thanks again so much for tuning in. Loved you guys' support, and really appreciate answering you guys' questions today. Have a wonderful day, and